Okay, hello everyone. It's me. I'm all alone. But Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all you people out there, to all the foreigners that are probably out in Thailand having a gay old time, whatever that means, to all the other foreigners that are at home and couldn't get any turkey even on Thanksgiving, so they went to one of those Swiss chalet chicken on the back of a truck, gajishi, and you got something nice and delicious to eat. And Merry Christmas to all those people who actually made it back home and they're with their family and their friends and they can't even talk English anymore, that they start to pronunciate their words really slowly and clear like this. And all their friends start wondering what the hell is wrong with you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy post-apocalyptic Mayan calendar unsuccessful day. We still survive the apocalypse, whatever that means. We're always surviving the apocalypse. I know I have this kind of obsession with that, but that's just how I am. This is what I do. This is my life. Also, I know there's some issues with the sound. I know only sound comes out of one speaker when you're listening to the headphones. I know. I'm trying to get this worked out. If anyone knows how to fix this and they can come over to my place, I will pay you back with KFC or maybe some money. If you prefer money, I'll do that as well. So anyone who can help me out, that would be the best. So the reason why I'm doing this right now without any particular guests at all at the current moment is because I wanted to give you guys a special gift today, which is I did a recent podcast with Ed and Paul, which unfortunately had some technical issues when we did it. For some reason, this was after Alex's podcast, and we were actually saying that it was actually to blame Alec for the all the metal in his body, that it didn't it somehow affected the following podcast after, because since then literally nothing has been the same. I don't know what happened. I don't know how my computer gets AIDS, because it's a Mac. Macs are a little bit more reliable about that, and I can't even watch porno anymore. So I'm kind of more free and more cautious about getting and receiving viruses, which is not the best gift for Christmas. So on top of that, or maybe not on top of that, maybe put that on the side, I wanted to show you guys this video that I did with Paul and Ed. Basically what we did is we recorded it. Later I put it in iMovie. I know, pretty awesome. And I edited it all up. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too crazy. It's basically the same stuff that you're going to see all the time. And I hope you enjoy it. And before I finish, I just want to let you guys know that Artist Journey is going to be teaming up with Seconds to Impact. So you guys better check that out. Facebook, you can write down seconds to the number 2 impact, and you can see their group page. And then they also have a website as well. You can check that out as well. And we're going to be doing a lot of work together. It's going to be a really interesting year, 2013, because no one expected anything. No one had any plans at 2013, because everyone thought the world was coming to the end. So they're like, oh, I might as well just do what I got to do. But we have a plan, and we know what we want to do, and it's going to be awesome. So expect a lot of awesome new content, a lot of more help, bigger production scale, sound quality that comes from both sides of the ears, instead of just one. We're also going to have a lot of great new guests and performers, artists, and comedians, and some people are leaving, some people are coming. It's always going to be a nice flux. And if you know anyone who you think would be great to have on the podcast, just let me know. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. So, without further ado, I would like to show you the Paul and Ed podcast immediately after having the Cold Soul screening. So here you go, guys. Merry Christmas again, and enjoy. Okay, so welcome to the Artist Journey, everyone. My name is Wilfred. I'll be your host for today. And I'm here with two very special people and another special person in the background. No, not that picture over there. It's actually Allison Yusset, and she made some ridiculously delicious apple crumble pie.
Oh my god.
It was really good, actually.
It was.
I'm actually trying to just sneak a nap in whilst you're... I'm hoping you're going to give Ed some long questions, and then I can just have a little sleep.
I'm good at waffling, so you know.
Oh,
What's
waffles
waffling?
as well, delicious.
Waffling is just eating a lot of waffles.
Oh, waffling, that's an actual
No.
verb, right?
It means talking for a long time without really saying anything.
I'm impressed. I was like, oh my god.
It's a skill.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's a
gonna lie.
skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, first and foremost, let's just say congratulations to finishing and completing and also screening last night,
Mhm.
A Cold Soul.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo!
And hey, round of applause. And how was it? How was the night?
Cathartic.
A lot of jitters, pre-game screening jitters.
God, yes.
Ed gets
You have
nervous.
no idea. You have
Tighten it
no
all
idea.
up.
I'm just like, I hope it goes well. But like, I'm not nervous. But like, Ed was, bless him.
I suffer a lot. Like, you know, like
As
for-
you should, as a
Yeah.
filmmaker.
For like a week before, you're oh okay. There's still apple crumble going down.
Okay. I just hope it falls out.
Yeah, I hope
It's
all
really
juices
cold,
run
Still
out.
eating. Still eating.
So, so like a week before, I'm you know very nervous and I'm trying to get everything done.
Mhm.
Even you know when did we meet? Was it Thursday or Friday?
We met on Friday, like
It
the
was
day
on
before.
Yeah, the day before the screening to try and get the subtitles sorted because I got somebody to translate the film.
Transcript and everything.
Yeah, and you know it was great, but you know it's just the eternal thing of how do we do this?
Which is a lot of filmmaking when when independent. You know, you'll keep hitting a hurdle, and especially as the project increases in size and scope, it's like okay, we've got another precipice to like find a way over now.
Yeah. Once you think you kind of I got this down. You know I know how to do this, and then you hit something else where it's like okay wow I don't know how to do this. I need to go on the internet and ask a million people.
So then, usually when you guys are working on a different project, I mean, like, the first one that I can think of is Perfect, right?
That was the first one we worked together. Right?
Oh, memories.
Good memories.
Memories.
Good times.
2 years? 1 year ago?
That would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
February. We filmed it in like February, right?
Yeah.
February 2010. 2011.
Was it 2011?
No, it's 2011.
Yeah, it was 2011. Yes.
So almost 2 years.
Yeah, so it's almost 2 years.
So, in terms of like developing a new project every time, does it always present you a new, different problem, or do you always kind of have some common issues with each one?
I think there's some things that you feel like okay, I learnt about that, and I'll try and apply a better workflow to the next one. And yet, when you do it the second time, it's still not quite there. You know, like I'm thinking particularly like sound. You know, capturing sound. Like on Perfect, we realized okay, next project we need to kind of really focus on it and do some stuff, and we did. You know, but maybe not far enough. You know, we could have done more. You know?
It's getting better every time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. You know, that's why you do it.
And this film, like, it really holds up on the big screen. In the cinema, when it was shown in the cinema yesterday, I was like, this is another film.
Yeah.
I guess, and you've done a couple of things with the editing there as well, especially that chase scene. And so I think that like it's worthy of like festivals and things like that. It's certainly one of the first things I've seen from our community as well. That's finally doesn't look like a student piece.
Right.
A lot of the stuff, like, because we're learning and when you know, and a lot of that,
I
but
understand, yeah.
it looks studenty or YouTubey. They're the two things that I think usually befall a lot of the projects that we've done in the past. And this finally looks and feels and sounds like a proper film.
So as you guys are, you know, keep progressing with new projects, are you slowly starting to compile like a team, like a dream team of people that you know, like, because you've worked with people and I'm sure they must have you know, helped in different forms and different
like
ways.
Everything that I've done this year, producing wise, or my movies, Ed's been on.
I mean, like, what was it? 2 weeks ago that we shot.
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago, we shot Paul's directorial debut.
Midway round.
Midway round. Let's plug it. Midway round.
Midway round. Coming to a cinema near you in 2000.
Check it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
Erebus
like Erebus Films, yes, in association with. in an Oscar.
In an Oscar.
And like I commented that in the room where we were shooting it, there were 5 people who had directed their own films. So Paul had put together
Wow.
like literally a dream team, like a team of 5 people who, you know, often on some of these things you get people who are very enthusiastic and they want to help out,
Right.
but you kind of have to spell some things out for them or like kind of guide them through certain things.
Right.
But he'd put together a team which was like, hey, can you do this? And they'd go and they'd do it, and then they'd think of 5 other options to improve it, and maybe implement one and show initiative and, you know, just make it that much better.
And the good thing is as well, I specifically choose the people that I work with again as well are people that I know are going to do what's best for the film and not bicker and cause problems, because there have been people like that in the past who I've had to like stamp.
Is it because like they're trying to contribute more, and then it comes to the point
It's
where
because they think that they're
really-
right and that they know more than somebody else, or it can also come from a place of again it's a place of like, I'm better than the other people. And then when that mentality creeps in, like I try not to work with people like that anymore, because when people think like that, then they deserve, like they feel like they deserve validation, which they don't get, because they're walking around on set with a holier than thou like mentality. So they're never going to get validation. In fact, they're going to get shunned, and so they get more and more bullish, and I've just seen that too much.
So what is the best way in order to maintain a harmony within a very small and tight-knit
Organization.
community?
Oh, within the community itself?
Right, because I mean,
Not in a
you're
film?
gonna, you know what I mean? Like within the film community, like it's such a small community, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone knows each other,
Yeah.
and up to that point where you have these issues, like is it come to the point where you go to these people like, hey, you know what? We're good friends and stuff,
Yeah.
but in this part, you know, we can't work as a.
You don't need to say that.
Yeah, I
think
think I think that a lot of it comes down to, you know, you work with someone, and if you work well, you'll work with them again.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you don't, you know, you're not going to ask them on your set again.
And actually, if you're a good enough leader, you can bring them onto your set but I mean, like what I tend to do at least, is I'll put them in a different role.
That you think is best. For
Yeah,
them.
and maybe because everyone has strengths, you know.
Absolutely.
But the problem is they can sometimes be in a role that really plays to their weaknesses, or the weaknesses. You know, if their weaknesses are brought out, then it's to the detriment of the entire team. So put them in a role where they're going to be subservient, maybe in certain people's cases, or maybe a bit more in control because they want that in other cases. I think it's just learning and being observant about people around you, and of course within the community itself, outside of a working environment. I feel like there's rifts already appearing.
It's well,
sad.
you know what, like
It's too close knit.
Yeah, and
like,
you know, I mean, there's been this great explosion of creativity where people are kind of like, everyone's doing projects, and
right.
there's like a million things going on, and maybe 2 years ago you could ask, you know, 3 or 4 people and you'd get a yes from them in terms of like their willingness to help. But now
it's like
it's virtually impossible.
Yeah, I had to like really go. I had to approach people in person and just be like, look, please don't be on this project. It's just a day. It's already organised. Like I had to really like sell why they should help me out on my film. Whereas like in the past, it's just like, want to work on a movie? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess like, for example, since the past 2 years since we both met, you know, everyone was kind of starting out, so it kind of seemed like everyone was willing to collaborate and wanted to do the stuff, and now everyone is consistently been putting original projects in.
And it's nice, you know, because everyone's doing their thing, you know, like with Midway Round, that's my own film. Obviously I'm still like working on other films as well, but like I can do that because I just have nothing but time. You know, and so like it is nice when people do though, like come out in force like a couple of weekends ago, and like everyone's got their own projects and stuff to do,
and more ambitious as well, you know. More feature films are coming out, people are writing stuff, and
I think the big problem in the community though is like because it's just like a bunch of expats. And the thing is as well, most of them are people that are here for a long time. There's not many new people come into the group who've formed the core, and it's the same as well. Not many people have left. Like I'm going to be one of the main members of the group. I'm the first main member to actually leave for good. which is weird because that's like in 2 years.
Mm.
So the problem is as well, it's quite stationary. I think in a city where everyone speaks the same language, like in London, if you're like there, you can have people coming and going all the time doing their thing.
Right, and it's weird because at the same time there's benefits to it because it means that
there's more camaraderie.
There's a kind of more instant like, oh, let's help each other out because no one else is going to help us. So I think that. I mean, I've never experienced anything like I have here in terms of just people's willingness to participate and help out and their generosity and stuff like that. And it's natural that as people start to get better, they get more ambitious, they start doing things slightly differently, it's going to get a little harder. I think that, like bringing some new people in or having new people arrive. Like, I remember when Matt Bedford, he was a cinematographer out here, came and like that was fantastic because he had quite a lot of experience with photography and things like that, and he was willing to come and join, but there haven't been that many new people, So I think we're due for some newness, definitely.
So in terms of the new people, it's just that they, do you think they are aware of this community of the filmmakers, or they're just kind of hesitant about it?
I think part of it's, I mean, I'm really, before I leave, I've got a bunch of interviews lined up as well where I'm really trying to talk about the community itself and publicise it as a bit more, because it has got to that point where, because people are now getting to that thing where everyone's empowered. And that's the best thing about the community, it's empowering to everybody. That everyone's doing their thing and they know that they've got this already an established well of people to choose from in terms of like, oh, I need someone to record sound for me. Well, I've got like these 4 people that I can go to. And so now no one's like actively going out and trying to engage other members and bring them in and stuff like that from the outside.
I mean, the workshop is the thing that for a long time would kind of coalesce people.
And that's now seems to be withering away because no one's put any effort into bringing it to people.
Well, I think that, I don't know what it is, but it seems to be a struggle to get, enough people to come nowadays.
It's because usually when you go there, it's mostly people that are working on stuff, they have something to show, right?
Yeah, that's like people, the idea is it's like, if you made something or you want to get some kind of creative feedback about it so you can make it better, or just you want to know what people think about it, either way.
But like tonight, they're gonna have like a little chat. Dan Adams, who's kind of a visual effects guy, he's gonna be talking about about visual effects and about how anybody can do it, which is great. I think that anybody who's even mildly interested in making films would benefit hugely from that, because they can go and they can just like see how a couple of things are done and how cool is it, the fact that free education on your laptop you can go and you can make gunshots and you can make blood splatter and stuff like that.
That's actually going to be a really interesting level once there will be more visual effects artists coming to the community itself, because everyone is more working on whatever they have, and making a solid story, of course, is the most essential thing.
Yeah.
But once you can get some more VFX artists coming in, like you said, just those little things.
Yeah.
Even like Robert Rodriguez used to do when he doing a shooting scene in a church and then just add those effects later. Like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It adds those little layers and details that you can.
Adds a lot of detail. It's great. God. And right now, like Dan, because he's the only one, he's inundated.
His plate is pretty full.
Because everyone's like, oh, I just want a smoke effect here, and can blood splatter, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get.
But he's again like so generous with his time.
That's very cool.
I mean, always willing to help out, and that's what you need.
I think people are like, I think the community itself, because it's very hard to kind of do well in this field. I think the community as a whole is genuine, because I saw the same thing in London when I went back, like people willing to give their time up and their talent, and there was a lot of generosity out of the people that I selected for my team. I filmed a scene midway around in London. The same thing, it felt like I could have been in Seoul. So I feel like it's just seeking it out and then just fostering it and like nurturing the community and having a couple of people that really put in time and effort and devotion to building it and bringing in new talent and new ideas and new people. And I think that's something I'm going to learn what I'm going to take back to London with me as well. Is that.
That's actually a pretty interesting thing now. Is like you guys mentioned a little bit before, was it came to this point now where everyone's working on their own thing that you actually have to kind of pitch it to your friend in order to work on it. Yeah. So that actually helps in a way to say, hey, this is the story, and then they have to like heartfelt, really enjoy the story enough.
Which was actually good practice, because then I did a fundraiser and I had to sell it to people who I wanted to donate money to the film. So exactly. At that point, I was well good at it.
And that's something that, as filmmakers, sometimes we forget that there's more to it than just pointing a camera at someone and hitting record. Yeah. And like a big part of it, especially if you write your own stuff and that you want to direct your own stuff and make your own stuff, is convincing people to get on board,
It's another skill set,
it's completely another skill set. And again, something that we've never really had to deal with, because you say, hey, I'm making a movie, who wants to help out? Yeah, me. Yeah. I want to be on a set, Mm-hmm. I don't care what it is.
But you're also getting to that point as well where, like we're saying, the quality's getting better, but you do want to, I had Kev in mind as my lighting guy, because he's done cinematography before, right? He's very capable, he's great to have on set. He's industrious. He thinks he's a great example of a guy who you'll give him a task and then he'll have like 5 ideas to make it even better.
This is Kevin Lambert.
And he was just really busy because he's got his own film, The View from Here, and he's got all this stuff to do for that. But I just really wanted him specifically. I could have brought somebody in who would have been up for it. Yeah. But I did want him. But then I really worked hard at getting in people on my lower level staff, like production assistants, who haven't done it. So I had 4 guys who were working as production assistants and smaller jobs. Like this one kid who's 15 and like he just really wanted to be on a set and stuff. So trying to bring in new people at the bottom level and then at the top where it's like above the line jobs and stuff like that. I really do want to have specific people because like they know what they're doing and they're going to bring something much bigger.
Yeah, and I guess after for both of you guys, you've actually have numerous titles, based on what you've been doing from director to producer to writer to all these different things, and so you're able to actually kind of delegate to people and because the community, like.
Well, actually, this book that I just gave you back, Alexander McKendrick, though, he says, like, if you want to be a good director, you've got to be a good actor and a good writer. If you want to be a good actor, you should probably know a lot about directing and writing as well. Because, like, the 3 really interlock, but as well, we're talking about skill sets. You're just constantly learning all these new things with filmmaking. Like, I've got to learn editing, because if you don't know editing well, then you can't direct well, because you're not thinking of all this stuff.
Yeah, like music, sound mixing, Yeah. I just spent, like, 10 hours this past week mixing and mastering the sound for the film, and it just kind of opens your eyes. I mean, and it's not that it's something that I knew nothing about, but I didn't realize the intricacy and the little different things that you can do and the little tips and the tricks, And the guy who mixed for us. Jeff Norstrand, he also worked on Elliot Ashby's album.
Right. Yeah, Pinnacle, he's worked with Pinnacle.
Yeah, very cool. He does a lot of music stuff mainly, but he's now getting into more films.
That's interesting. A lot of people doing a lot of cross work now.
Yeah, he had a great quote though. I said, because I was talking to him like, so you're more into music, aren't you? And he said, all sound is music to me.
Oh, that's amazing.
I like that. Fuck yeah. I was like, okay, you've got the job. You can mix that movie.
Did he have like a monocle and like smoking like a really long cigarette? Like a glass of
my memories now superimpose that into the.
And he started like fading away.
When we tell the story now, yes, that is how we will describe it.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing. I was like, just imagining like the Peanuts guy, with the top.
Yeah.
It's like
the M&Ms. And then M&Ms rain down from the sky.
And you're like, what just happened? What happened like in 5 seconds?
What's going on?
But it's all in slow motion. You've got Beethoven's 7th Symphony, 2nd movement in the background. Brilliant.
But that just something like that is amazing.
That was wildly specific.
Yes.
That was wildly specific. 2nd stanza. In G flat.
Minute 2 minutes 5 seconds.
Wait, G flat.
J flat, which also coincides with.
Oh amazing. So that's great because like even for him just to say something like that, obviously just right there so simply summarizes what he does and what he thinks of, and how we can make that kind of cross collaboration so easy. And you must have a completely new take on making the sound. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like he has a wonderful kind of philosophical approach to stuff. And actually, on Friday, we were kind of listening to a version of the film, and I started to panic. I was like, oh god.
That was my fault. I was like, this sounds weird.
and immediately I'm like,
he's like,
oh god, oh, I just
money on
10 hours and like $300 on this, like. Okay, I need to. So I sent him a message like, "Listen, man, like, can you rewatch it and just tell me if there's anything that we can do?" And I get a phone call like 2 minutes later, and he's like, "Listen, man," like in this really kind of calm voice. "Listen, man, I totally understand it, but don't worry, you gotta trust it. We improved it. It's so much better than it was before, you know." And he said something really serious. Like, the fact that you care so much about it makes me stoked for your next project because I know you're just going to do it so much better.
Oh, he's just trying to get you to he's trying to work his way onto the next project.
The next film. but like, you know.
It's like, alright.
Yeah.
What the fuck we're going to do?
but you know, he kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit. And that's the thing, like, you know, you're high strung and you're kind of worrying about a million different things. And there comes a point when you just got to kind of like step back and say, okay, like it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Like, no one's gonna die if it's a disaster, you know.
I guess it's one of those issues that you obviously you know exactly what you could have improved and stuff. It's kind of like when you're working on something in the mid process and you go to a person like, "Hey, listen, I know, like, I'm working on this. I know my things, but just check it out."
Right.
And then they're like, "You know, something's right." Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then you're like,
"Oh my god,
but this
bro, oh my god!" Like when I showed the first cut to people, and they were like, "Yeah, you got to do something about the sound." I was like, "I know I have to do something about the sound. That's not what I want to hear. Tell me what I want to hear."
The good thing is though as well, doing that actually, you're working on it, but you can, and then, you know, it's possible to be very close to what you're doing.
Yeah.
But really, subconsciously, you still know that that's not good, and you kind of, there's so many different things, like again the hurdles, especially we're kind of still new to the whole, even post-production and stuff like that. I mean, this is your third film in post-production. I'm just going into my first, you know. And there's so many things in the editing suite, and you're like, I don't know how to do that.
I tell you what though, you seen the trailer? The trailer for Koto?
Yeah.
This man, like, hadn't edited, well no, he'd edited one thing before.
Oh, you edited the trailer?
He edited the trailer.
Well,
how good is that?
Well,
I sat there, and he was doing it, and I was like, God damn it, you bastard.
But
you
it
could
was
just pick it up and do it that easily. It took me months to work out what that cursor did. You know? But, yeah.
I really do like editing, actually.
Yeah,
And it's
like
something I took to straight away.
he's got a knack.
So what are some of your favorite things to do in terms of like pre-production, production, and post-production? What part and do you enjoy the most?
I would say I could be in pre-production forever because I love talking about like concepts.
It is fun, isn't it?
You know, character and how we're going to develop this and how we're going to develop that. But my favorite moment is when I'm on the set. When I'm there and the cameras are there and like there's pressure and there's problems and, you know, your brain, like after a 14-hour shoot, like starts to like bubble. But it's still like just the greatest feeling. And I always say to people, you know, I'd rather be doing that than and waking up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at like 2 a.m. or whatever, or not sleeping, than, you know, just going out drinking and
right,
you know.
And actually, this is the thing. I've like, because of Midway Round, we've both quit smoking recently, and we've quit pretty much drinking apart from last night.
Yeah.
But like, really, I'm so much more productive. My favorite moment is a moment or specific thing that I do. Like, would be from Midway Round, just sitting there the night before and knowing I have everything planned.
Yeah.
And everything's in place. And going, shit, I hope everything goes well tomorrow, because there's a million things that could still go wrong, but I'm as organised as I can be. And I think that was a really nice moment to go, I'm not dreading this. because I thought I'd be dreading the day, like the night before shooting. It'd be panic and it'd be frustration and all this stuff. And I just kind of, there was a moment I just sat there and went, we had a car that we rented and it was full of stuff. We'd gone all over the city picking up equipment. We had like a dolly, which is looks like a railway road track, and a big thing you put on it, and camera tripods. We had a steady cam, which makes you can run and it still looks beautiful and smooth. And I just spent like $500 or $600 in an hour.
Yeah.
And I just looked at it and I went, and I was just like, everything's ready.
I'm ready.
Everything's ready.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful moment. It was the serenity,
Yeah.
and you know what? It was so nice because the whole weekend was perfect. And my second favorite is getting home with that footage. That's like payday. You know, you work.
Your favorite thing is getting home without footage.
With that
the footage.
footage.
Oh, with the footage. Okay.
So you get it on your computer, the stuff you just filmed that day, basically the rushes, and it's like, you know, when you get paid, you go look in your bank and there's like a bunch of money there for the thing that you did for the last month. That is looking at the footage to me. It's you get it in your computer and you pop it in and you're like, we've just done all that work and here's the payoff. Like, this is the thing that I get to spend now.
For example, when you're in production and you're doing a scene with an actor or whatnot, and you're seeing them doing the shot or whatnot, after they finish it, do you immediately watch together with them, or you just say, "Hey, you did great. Just move on"?
It depends. For me, if I'm really excited about a particular shot, I might show the actors. But by and large, no, because I don't want them to be thinking about the camera.
Right.
Like, I want them to be focused on the moment.
As an actor, I'm going to counter you there.
Okay.
You have to think about the camera as an actor.
Yeah, I know you.
Because the camera, you know, the best piece of teaching I've ever come across is that the camera is your best friend that doesn't exist.
You have to act to the camera.
Yeah, and it never lies. So it's like an imaginary friend almost. So when you're around company, you know, but you have to, everything you do is for the camera.
Well, because the thing I'm always kind of curious is that, for example, if an actor, for example, is doing it and you see, it looks fine, but then, for example, if the actor looks at the shot, you know, looks at the playback, and they say, okay, I thought I did that right, but when I look at it, at myself in this view,
and this is the problem. Yeah. Like, this is why I would rather they're not thinking about the previous take or the next.
That's
take.
a problem with amateur actors only, though. I'd say.
Well, like,
I'm on feature film sets. Everyone goes and gathers around the monitor after every take, and you know, the actor and the director talk when we go, and I'll be like, are you happy with that? Personally, I don't want to really judge it myself, but like, I want to know what the director thinks, and if they want to tweak it a little bit, and to be able to watch that is very, because I know what I did, I have the physical memory, so I never watch something back and go, oh, that's not what I thought I was smiling, but my face looked like this. You know, because then you're not acting, you're false.
I would always kind of allude it to, for example, you know, you're recording your voice and you hear it back, like, that's not my voice. You know what I mean? That's how I was thinking.
Like,
it.
I think that the relationship between an actor and a director has to be based more than anything on trust.
And if anything, that's the director chooses that actor anyway. So
Exactly.
I think any role with the director is based on trust, because you've got to trust implicitly what the director says.
And you know, there's moments when, you know, like, I'm usually more than happy to give an actor like an extra take if they really, really want it. But there comes a point when if it's like take after take after take, I'm like, look, trust me, we got it. You know.
I totally agree with that. Like,
what about like Peter Jackson? You know, where, for example, like, he'll do like
in a feature shots. Well, in a feature film, they'll take it until everyone's completely happy, and you know,
sound, lighting. The best boy, you know.
You've got, and even like the actor's gonna, like, a good actor will actually deliver it in different ways as well. Great, the Heat. There's a moment in Heat where they're talking, Al Pacino and De Niro, and this is a beautiful scene. They're in this restaurant and they have this long conversation, and it's the two nemesis talking in this very kind of, almost, there's like a sense of brotherhood and bravado there, but they know that one of them's going to win and one of them's going to lose, you know, and it's a fantastic moment. And they shot that scene like 22 times, and every time, each take was totally different. So you get into the editing suite, and the thing is when you're editing as well, and this is why it's really important if you want to make films to know how to edit, because that's like another process that changes the film or can change the feel of the film. So, like, you know, you really have, like, final say there. That's why they talk about director's cuts and stuff like that. It's a totally different film that comes out. And it's not just stuff that got taken out of the film. It's like, you can choose to, instead of going with the angle that's close up on his face, I could go with a far away angle. And that's telling the audience a whole different thing. So the beauty of editing is it's actually, you're telling the story more than anybody almost at that point.
Yeah, I mean, they say that you essentially, you write a film 3 times. When you actually sit down and write it, when you actually shoot it, and then when you actually edit it. And the editing is really is the final say, you know.
Yeah.
And there's limitations because, you know, it's funny you were saying that you love kind of looking at the footage. I love looking at footage, but there's always a sense of dread.
Yeah,
You're like Mr. You're just dread right there.
What happens if, like, I missed something or I forgot to get something or... You know, something like that. But you know, that's kind of the joy of editing as well, is finding solutions to those problems, you know. Problem solving. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get a little bit more deeper into that, because we really are getting deeper, let's talk about Cold Soul for a bit, right? So how did that start, this story? I'm gonna say the genesis.
The genesis. Well,
I don't know where that came from, actually. Like, I mean, for me, it came when Ed came to me and went, I've got an idea, I'm going to do a noir. I want to shoot it. It's going to be called A Cold Soul. I went, okay, when do you want to shoot it? February.
When it's cold.
It's going to be freezing.
It's going to be freezing. I want it to be authentic.
Yeah. And but I still wanted to be in it.
Yeah.
But the idea was basically like just doing a noir, and then from there just have everything.
Well, no, okay. So the original idea was we did Perfect together, and I was very proud of it, and I still am.
Yeah.
But it was the kind of film that really kind of tries to explore kind of darker aspects of humanity and you know, things which are I'm fascinated by but are a little bit heavy. And I thought to myself, you know what, my next film is going to be one that my mother would enjoy. That was the original goal.
You love noir?
Well, she loves detective stories.
Not literally.
Stories. And so you know, and I do too. I love those kind of Columbo and Murder She Wrote, Poirot, stuff like that. You know, love it. Can't get enough of it. So that was kind of the inception. My own. I incepted myself. That sounded dirty.
Sounds so wrong.
It is sounded very nice.
I incepted myself.
So
I'll have to call you back.
Yeah.
I have to take a shower.
I'm just gonna I'm halfway through it.
I feel a little dirty. So that was kind of the original idea, and then I came to Paul just because. You know, I enjoyed working with him so much on Perfect.
I don't know why.
I thought, you know, like I can totally see this guy doing this kind of character, you know.
What about the other characters as well? Like you had Jessica Adele.
Yes.
And she did a really impressive Russian accent.
Oh my god, yeah. And that's a moment where I was like, wow, okay, you know, that's where you trust your actors, because she, like, we had a couple of meetings and we talked a little bit about the character and kind of my thoughts on it, and then I said to her, can you do a Russian accent? She said, you know, I can try. And I said, okay, you're gonna have to like learn some swear words in Russian, because there's like a moment where she swears at him in Russian, and then we didn't really talk about it until the night we were shooting out in Apujan.
Oh wow.
And I was like, whoa, okay. I hope, you know, I hope she's okay with it. I hope she's, you know, she's ready. And God, was she ready?
And it was meant to be more, wasn't it? But I think the fact that she just did less and she just said basically one word, was really powerful.
Yeah, and like, you know, we had a couple of Russians on the set that night, and they were like, yeah, well,
she's good.
Not bad. Not bad. No, it's okay. It's not bad. In that typical Russian kind of way.
That's actually pretty good.
Thank you.
It's very nice. It's very.
Okay.
So then, so I guess this is how it started to gradually become this one story and stuff, and then
Yeah, so again, what I was trying to do was I was trying to set up that kind of detective, that kind of iconic character that could almost be part of a series, you know. Mm-hmm. And you know, we talked a little bit about the fact that, you know, we could do other ones. Like when we're back in London, we could shoot another episode of Sam.
And the hope is that it'll do well at festivals, and then people will be like, "Is this? Oh, look at the way it ends. You're gonna make another one?" And we go, "Yeah, just give us some money."
Yeah, give us some money. We're writing it right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We have a whole series outlined.
Actually, we should do that.
Yeah, we should actually. And we have.
Yeah, world and out there.
Yes, world.
Just ask for a outline of the later episodes in about a month.
The right files.
In a month.
So is it going to be like a pretty warm soul?
A pretty...
lukewarm soul.
Yeah. A drizzly London.
A drizzly London.
Yeah.
There you go.
A foggy Southampton.
Affair.
There you go. I know. I quite like you know, some kind of intrigue in the New Forest.
In the New Forest, yeah.
Like
Someone steals some apples. He's on it. He's on it. Sam's on it. Who stole the apples?
Nobody
Scrimping.
takes my cider.
Yeah, this one makes apple crumble pie.
Yeah. I need my apple crumble.
Yeah.
So after working on the entire thing and then showing it last night to the crowd, what did
Look, you're smiling.
I can't help it, man. It was like,
really
honest
good.
to God, one of the greatest nights of my life.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Why was it? What happened?
You know what? I was thinking about this earlier, and I was gonna write like a really long Facebook post. I might as well.
I
just
love
say,
everybody.
Like no, it was the little things. Honestly, it was the little things. It was like, you know, sitting in the movie theater with my girlfriend, like I've done countless times, you know, and just holding her hand, but watching my film up there, like hearing a friend of mine react to something, like you know, a reveal, and he's like, oh, you know, just hearing that. People laughing at my the jokes that I wrote, you know, the things that, of course, I think I'm hilarious.
And can I just say at this point, Ed has written some of the best lines I've ever been able to act, and it was such a pleasure to say some of the lines on the screen.
That's brilliant.
But you know, just the little things just made it such an incredible night. And I know, like, I'm realistic as well. Like, I know it's not a perfect film. I know that I still have like a long way to go. I know, you know, we were rejected from Sundance. You know, I know this is. Sorry, I just revealed that on there. So, but you know, like.
But no, Sundance.
Like
it's the pinnacle.
It's about applying to Sundance, not about getting into Sundance.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Knowing that you've got something that's
exactly, and you know, just hoping that one day when you actually send something that you think might actually get in, they'll remember your name and say, "Hey, this guy's like applied a bunch of times. Maybe we should, you know,
feel sorry for him."
Yeah, throw him a pity acceptance.
It's the Scorsese Oscar Award.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it was just the little things, you know. Oh, and another thing, like someone who I didn't know was brought by a friend, and later he said to me, you know what, I felt very privileged to be there, like just to share in that moment with you, because obviously, like it's Liam's.
Yeah, that guy was nice.
Yeah, he was really nice. And he was like, oh, you know, I was just privileged to be there for that moment for you, you know, and congratulations. So yeah, it was everything, you know, old co-workers, new co-workers coming along, and just, you know.
Just everyone that you wanted to come.
Yeah, well, yeah, unfortunately my brother couldn't come because he was, you know, a bunch of people were off on vacation and stuff. So that was sad, but at the same time, like, knowing that they'll get to enjoy it as well, and that, you know, it was a success, you know. Whatever that means.
So then, what is the plan now with the Cold Soul? What's the next step?
Festivals. People, we did all right. People donated a lot of money towards submissions to festivals last night, which was great. But yeah, it's getting it off to. We're gonna like come and study a bunch of different festivals that we can send it to. Like Sundance is always a thing that you just send it.
Yeah, you just send it Sundance because you want to say, oh, I've submitted to Sundance.
Yeah.
But really, it's the small festivals, it's the niche festivals. Like there's certain
And
like
it's still a short
perfect.
film.
Yeah, Perfect got into a science fiction festival, you know, in Australia, and that's what you want, because those are the people that are going to go and they have an interest in that particular, you know, genre or whatever it is, you know. So like there's a bunch of festivals which they have genre categories, you know, so like horror, and a lot of them have like a noir category, you know. So I'm pretty hopeful, you know. I think it's it's definitely a good step forward.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. I mean, like again, I keep thinking about 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's always great to see how much you guys have just evolved from 2 years into what you're doing now.
And we put a lot of time in though as well.
Like, yeah.
I'm a big advocate of like time, the 10,000 hour
Yeah.
rule. I just talk about it all the time. Like, you got to do 10,000 hours to be good at anything.
Which makes me an expert at masturbating.
Yes, if only we
10 more with my
applied,
right hand.
if we applied ourselves more, like
I didn't mean to demean your inspirational.
I don't want you to touch me anymore. It's the thing. Just in case.
Yeah, but you know, it's nice, and I joked yesterday. I joked yesterday about, like, somebody was saying, so what's next with a Cold Sauna? I joked. I was like, let me just enjoy this moment,
Right,
you know.
sure.
But because it is, you know, you put so much effort into something, and you put so much time and, you know, money, because that's what we do. And yeah, it's nice to have just a few moments where you can enjoy it, you know. And that's the thing about, like, me stressing about it. Like, I need to relax and just enjoy it.
That's my job to worry about it anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
technically
The
in charge
producer,
of that,
so, you know.
like, that's something I'll do.
So
my job's done, technically.
So now, as your job as a producer, what is your responsibilities now?
Just as like the same kind of thing that I'm doing with before. It's mainly publicizing it as much as possible, and just making sure that we get it out to festivals and get things done on time. You know, and like Ed was saying, like, there's a few areas where we can probably just fine tune it still. It's funny, every time I watch a film with people, I just like, I go, oh, that's wrong. You know, it's funny, but like, there's a, you know, just a couple of audio moments that can change.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's you know, it's hard to step back and say, okay, it's done, because there's always stuff you can do to improve it. But I mean, I have to say, it's the first time that I feel like I've shown something publicly, and it's pretty close to being done. You know, in the past, maybe I'd shown stuff a little bit too early. It was a little bit half-baked. And inevitably, you know, like, people are always going to be very nice about it, but there's still that feeling of, like, okay, you still got a lot of shit to do.
And it's a slight anti-climax as well, isn't it, when you do. One thing I'd love to do is actually put on a screening of stuff in London as well.
I'm hoping you will.
I want to get established first and everything, but then, you know, an actual screening would be very nice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have more screenings. I mean, this one was kind of special because it was in a movie theater with, like, you know, big ass screen. First time I'd ever seen, like, my film on a screen that big, you know.
Right.
In actual movie theatre.
Yeah, in an actual movie theatre, you know.
Which is really great, because, you know, I don't think I've seen other filmmakers do that as well. In terms of the expat film community.
Well, it tends to be, you know, a bar that puts a projector up and some speakers, and, you know, I mean, the Kofic thing is awesome.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And it's sad that, you know, like you said, they're going to be moving, you know.
Moving?
To Busan.
To Busan, yeah.
Oh, rather.
Yeah, so
you guys were pretty lucky, actually, in order to get that there.
Yeah, it was frustrating to actually get it. Very frustrating.
it's always hard to...
How did you convince them in order to do that?
It wasn't really so much convincing, it was just paperwork, you know, red tape, that kind of thing.
Really?
Just getting it sorted and getting a reply from people and that kind of thing. And eventually, I just got someone to speak Korean. And because the guy who was speaking English was really not very
English
useful.
is the red tape.
That's the red tape, and like my Korean just wasn't good enough to be like, I want to do a screening on this particular date. What's it about? You know, and explain what it's about and everything. I just couldn't get that across, and so eventually I got it sorted out.
And you know, like, and I wish I'd made a bigger deal of it yesterday, by the way. But like, you know, I always knew that Paul was a very talented actor. I didn't know how talented he was as a producer. Like, I mean, talk about hustle and organizational skills and, you know, just going at it. Like, any time that I was like, oh yeah, we kind of need to do that, I was expecting him to say, okay, so when are you going to do that? And invariably he'd say, all right, I'll get it done tomorrow, or I'll get it done, you know, as soon as I can. And I mean, yeah, I was just blown away. You know, it was a joy. Like, a lot of film shoots are very stressful, very long hours, but the way he scheduled it, it was like, we had maybe 2 rough days where we were like, okay, like 12, 14 hours, but that's 2 out of 9.
Yeah.
And all the other days were like leisurely kind of 4 hours, 5 hours,
Let's make a
maybe
movie.
6. Yeah, let's enjoy this. Hey, let's order some pizza.
A couple of 2-hour shoots.
Right, yeah. At least for them. For me, it was all still stress, no matter what. But you know, no, even for me, like, it was just enjoyable. You know, I could joke around. You know, whereas in the past I was always like Mr. Serious. Go away, I'm directing. You know, but this was like a lot of fun, and I feel like the stress and the worry and stuff like that, that's gonna come later in my career when I actually have like
someone's
real
giving you
pressure.
a couple of million to make a movie or something, and
you
you've
know.
got to
Your first $1 million movie.
Right, you know, that's pressure, you know, where people are gonna like get fired if you don't do it properly, you know.
And you've got people going. You've got like prima donnas, real prima donna actors,
exactly.
and people going, "Well, I'm giving you money. I want this to be. You want to shoot this line."
Exactly.
Or, you know.
And you're like, "Oh no, I don't think that's good." He's like, "I don't care. I'm giving you money."
Yeah.
You know. So like for me, it's really important to still kind of enjoy this, because I know I'm going to look back on it and be like, "Oh, those were the good old days."
Right, building the legacy.
Yeah, exactly. And just, you know, building memories and things that you can look back on. And I remember specifically for this film, at the front of the film, there's a dedication to my grandmother, who passed away. Like, she didn't pass away while we were shooting, but like, I got the news that she passed like while we were on set. And you know, I remember thinking for a moment, I might lose it. Like, we may have to like pack it up and go home, you know. But then I thought, okay, relax. Like, just take a minute, do the next couple of setups, and then see how you feel. You know?
And that was the coldest night of the shoot, all the shoot as well. Like, really, you guys were stood outside the whole time in -10 at least.
It was cold. It was definitely cold. And you know, and after a couple of setups, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm having so much fun. This is my dream. Like, I know, like, my grandmother was like so supportive of everything that I ever wanted to do, and I just knew, like, you know, she would get pissed at me if I packed up and left. She would, you know, she'd have got angry with me. So like, we kept going. We got a beautiful scene. It's some of the best dialogue I think I've written in terms of exposition, but still being kind of fun and entertaining and fast. So, you know, like, just that's what I mean, like, building those memories, you know, and being able to look back on that and with pride, and seeing up on the screen, like, the dedication and a picture of her and stuff. It's very emotional, you know, very emotional.
So since we're on the topic of talking about memories and stuff, what do you guys see for yourself as the future in terms of Erebus and for Inanos?
Okay, Mr. Erebus.
I'm moving my company back to London, and then it's all about starting again, really. Like, all the stuff that I've built up here in the last 3 years.
That's like a kind of a big concern for when you're living in Korea. I guess not just for living in Korea, but like being in that place, and it's like you've been here for several years already, right?
3 years. Yeah.
So that's kind of a concern for myself as well. Like
Right.
like I have a place here, I have a lot
Right,
of shit,
right.
and just like not really physical stuff too, but like how much of everything that I've done here can I take back?
Yeah, and it's,
otherwise it might be hard to feel like.
I mean, I
emptiness.
came here specifically to get experience. Like, I couldn't afford to go to acting school or film school. It was just too expensive for me, and
Right.
like I wasn't getting any financial backing. So I had to find another option. So I came to Korea specifically to get experience. And in the meantime, like I've become a producer and a director, which I never expected. I was just acting only at that time.
Sure. Yeah.
So for me, it's been wonderful. Like I've got way more experience than I was ever bargaining for. But obviously now I go back to London, and it's kind of like this is a silly thing to compare to, but you know that scene in Red, he's called Red, the character, when he gets out of prison in Shawshank Redemption, and he comes out, he's been away for so long, he gets back to the real world, and there's like cars, all these cars going by, and he just, when he got put in prison, none of that, and it was really sad. I'm not going to hang myself, that's not going to happen, it's not going to be like a movie, but like, it's just going to be weird going back and trying to fit into a society that's so familiar, but it's not familiar in a way. Last time I was there really living, I was kind of, either a student or working like some shitty job for about 6 months that didn't work out, and so London really is be a filmmaker is still something I really don't know how to do in London. So I gotta go back and basically do what I did here, but at least there's no language barrier now. But
it's gonna
with
be
the
a whole
experience
bunch of new
behind me.
obstacles and challenges.
Yeah, so I got all the experience from here behind me. I know that when there are obstacles and challenges, you just can't persevere, because if you try to avoid it, or if you just put it off, well then you're just only detrimental to what I'm doing. So the thing is just you see it and then you try and solve it as fast as possible.
Boom in the shot.
Boom in the shot.
It's okay.
But
get busy living or get busy dying. I think that's very apt.
Yeah, and
I think that like what you're doing though is you've done it once.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to a completely unknown situation.
Right, yeah, and actually I'm really excited because this film, the scene that I did shoot from midway round in London went so well that it filled me with nothing but confidence. And I'm going back to England having built something, which is nice, and it's going to be a really humbling experience as well to be back there and be kind of amongst people that are actually better and more talented, that that really do this as a life, and it's their whole
living,
thing. I'm around people that are better and talented here, but it's not their living. But hopefully it will be one day. But there, it's like they've struggled already and they've already overcome that obstacle, and that's for me like the best things to be around that now. Because there's going to be people for support, who I can go like, well, how did you deal with the fact that you had absolutely no money and, you couldn't pay rent and, no one was giving you a job? Because I can't ask anyone here, and
they'll be like, teach English.
And I need that support network, because it's going to be hard. Like here, it was really easy to I could find work easily just by being foreign. It was ridiculous, and there it's going to be hard because I want to do that kind of
competition and everything.
But I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that's Erebus Films' future. A feature film by 2014, blaxploitation. I'm going to do a British blaxploitation pick.
It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I like it already.
It's going to be brilliant. Set in the 1960s, so.
Okay.
Very cool.
Nice.
How about yourself?
Enanoski. Right now, I'm writing. I've written a short script for another little bit more abstract. That I want to work with Khalid. Do you know Khalid Taqi?
Khalid, great guy.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to work with him since 2009, and it's never really happened properly. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to write something for him, and before he leaves for Thailand, to do his Muay Thai. For 5 months. I'm going to do that with him, hopefully. What else? I'm currently co-writing a feature-length script about, broadly speaking, about a stand-up comedian who is a Korean adoptee, and through a number of circumstances ends up coming back to Korea to try to find her birth family. And it's kind of the trials and tribulations of adoptees, and you know, when we started writing it, it was kind of like this really heavy, really like dramatic thing, and then we realized, you know what, there's a lot of comedy in some of these situations. You know, there's a lot of very funny moments, even though you're kind of like, oh, should I be laughing at that? I don't know if that's appropriate or not.
Which is like the best part.
Exactly, yeah. So you know, and there's some kind of cool things that we're going to be trying, like breaking the fourth wall. You know, I love 24-hour party people. The
that
Steve Coogan
works
film.
really well.
Yeah. And so we're going to try and implement some of those aspects, and this whole
more 24-hour party people, less Malcolm in the Middle, though.
Right. Yes. So we're writing that. We're kind of through a outlining process right now. We're going to start with the proper first draft of dialogue and everything. And you know, I mean, right now it's looking like LA in the not too distant future.
Very cool.
You know, within a year probably.
Straight to LA.
Straight to LA, straight to the lion's den, so to speak. You know?
The Los Angeles.
Yes, the Los Angeles den.
With Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out here! Always freaks out in every movie you ever did.
So yeah, you know, it's exciting.
Please write a script for Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I'm going to bring
and
him
it
back.
has to be like Raising Arizona.
I'm going to bring him back. I'm going to bring him back. I'm telling you, he's going to be what Travolta was for
if you
Quentin.
If you can write another line for him, like, I'm going to take all these all these nappies,
No, he's
and
like,
whatever money you've got,
I'll take
these nappies and whatever money you've got.
I'll take these huggies and all the money you got in the till.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was his best ever line.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know what? I think it's almost 5, and we've been talking about a lot of things. So before we finish, just is there anything else you guys want to let people know? Anything else you have going on? Anything else that they can do to help you guys with the film, or with Erebus, or with Inanowski?
Well, I guess maybe check out the website www.enanoski.com. It needs updating, but yeah, just check it out and like things on Facebook, and you know, just in general, kind of support your local film people. You know, like that's you know, all we can ask for.
Also, be active.
Yeah,
if you want to do
join
stuff,
in.
I think, you know, the hardest thing is just taking that first hurdle usually, and once you're established and ingratiated into a network like that, you're gonna be. There's so many possibilities. Like I say, when I came on to Perfect, that's the first ever thing I did with the foreign filmmaking community, and I was just an actor then, and I've experienced so much more as a result of it, and I feel like it's well worth it. So get involved.
Yeah, the Soul's Filmmaker Workshop was the sheep that made you into a lion.
That was, I mean, I think Ed was the guy that turned me into a sheep. What? Was that to say a lion?
Yes. Turned you into a lion.
But like, you know, and then as a result of being part of that, I did another film, and then that started. I started going to the filmmakers workshop. I think it fueled it, but the fire was already burning.
Yeah. It's you know, it's just for us, for a lot of people out here in Seoul. If you have no idea, like, okay, I want to get involved, but I don't really know anyone. I don't know where people are going or anything like that. You know, Seoul Filmmakers Workshop is like a great place to go. You can go and meet people who are directing stuff, working on stuff,
Writing.
you know, writing, whatever you want to do. Like, you can meet people, exchange emails, exchange numbers.
And this is true for everybody, like an artist or just anyone who's interested in films and doesn't know what they want to do. Like, we have artists who work in post-production and do posters and things like that. You know, concept art for storyboards and stuff like that.
You know, any creative thing that you do, like if you play the mouth organ, somebody's gonna want to use it.
I would totally use that. I love.
That's your middle name, right?
Yeah,
Mr. Mouth
Paul Harp Stafford.
The mouth harp.
Yeah. I like to call it by the bluesy name, playing the harp.
The harp.
The harp.
Yeah. So,
Right on.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, always a pleasure again. Mr.
Thank you.
Burgos,
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Will.
Paul Stafford. And then everyone else, I apologize for any technical difficulties. Again, just like Facebook itself, thank Mark Zuckerberg, whatever he is. People always do this to me. I don't know why.
Because you're
Right
so
there.
beautiful.
I'm gonna get into the shot here. So then what you're gonna do is just like our page on facebook.com/myartistjourney. We're gonna start relaunching the website at artistjourney.org. Just like and join us. We're gonna put some everyday inspirational posts and gonna have some more podcasts with wonderful, amazing people such as these two gentlemen over here. And hopefully we will see you at the next one. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Amazing ending.
Okay, see you guys later. Bye.